I was told I never walk again. Today my physical therapist cried when I walked down the aisle at her wedding. The text came at 2:47 a.m., exactly 1 year after my accident. Megan, I know it's late, but I need to ask you something important. Will you be in my wedding party? Minus Allie, I stared at my phone in the dark, tears welling up. Allie wasn't just my physical therapist. She was the woman who'd seen me at my absolute worst Pernton and somehow still believed in my best. 13 months earlier, a drunk driver had plowed through an intersection and into my car. I woke up in the hospital to a neurosurgeon explaining that my spinal cord was severely damaged. You should prepare yourself for life in a wheelchair, he said clinically before leaving me alone with those words echoing in my head. 3 days later, Allie walked into my hospital room. She was nothing like I expected, Perch. No false cheeriness, no empty promises, just straight talk and unwavering determination. I can't promise you'll walk again, she said, looking directly into my eyes, but I can promise that if here is even a 1% chance, we're going to find it together. Those first sessions were brutal. I'd scream, cry, and once even threw my water bottle across the room. Allie never flinched. That's it, she'd say. Use that anger, channel it into your muscles. For 6 months, we worked together 3 times a week. When my insurance stopped covering sessions, she started seeing me during her lunch breaks. Don't you dare give up now, she'd say whenever I wanted to quit. I'm investing in you and I expect returns. The first time I stood for 10 seconds without support. She filmed it and sent it to my mom. When I took my first wobbly step between parallel bars, she cried harder than I did, but it wasn't just the physical progress. On my darkest days, when the pain was unbearable and the future looked bleak, she'd sit beside my wheelchair and talk about her own struggles, parent her brother's addiction, her parents' divorce. She made me feel less alone in my brokenness. So when she asked me to be in her wedding party, I replied immediately, only if you are prepared for me to roll down the aisle, you'll do whatever your body allows, she wrote back. And I'll be proud either way. For the next 6 months, alongside my regular therapy, we secretly added wedding training. A recession ended with me practicing walking in the formal shoes I'd wear that day. We measured the exact distance of the aisle at her venue and recreated it in the therapy gym. Yesterday was her wedding day. As the other bridesmaids lined up, I remained seated in my wheelchair at the back of the church, heart pounding. Allie had no idea what I was planning to attempt. When my turn came, I gripped the handles of my chair, took a deep breath, and pushed myself up to standing. The collective gasp from the guests was audible. With my cane in one hand and flowers in the other, I took the first step. Each movement was deliberate, painful, and absolutely worth it. Halfway down the aisle, I looked up to see Allie at the altar, hand over her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Her fiancé Estine was crying too. Those 27 steps took me almost 2 minutes, the longest walk of my life. When I reached the altar, Allie broke protocol and embraced me, whispering, "You just gave me the greatest wedding gift possible." Later, during the reception, I found a moment alone with her. "Why me?" I asked. "Of all your patients, why did you go above and beyond for me?" She smiled. "Because from day one, even when you couldn't move your legs, you never stopped moving forward. You taught me more about perseverance than I ever taught you about physical therapy. Sometimes the people who change our lives aren't family or lifelong friends. Sometimes they're the professionals who refuse to see us as just another case number parrot who fight for our recovery as if it were their own. And sometimes the greatest victory isn't just learning to walk again. Parents walking toward the people who believed in us when we couldn't believe in ourselves."